So what is yoga and why do we do it? Welcome to Spirituality Explained for the Average Joe, where I take one spiritual topic and explain it to you in a short video. Today's topic is yoga. Why? Because it has grown increasingly popular in the West and it can be a bit confusing to people. I mean, is yoga this or is yoga this? So today I'm going to cover what is yoga, why do we do yoga, and the 5 scientific methods of yoga practice today. And yes, one of those methods is the stretchy kind, or I like to refer to it as the Lululemon kind. Also, who created the 8-fold path of yoga and just who brought yoga to the West, all on today's episode. So, what is yoga? Why do people do it? Yoga is the science by which the soul gains mastery over the instruments of body and mind and uses them to attain self-realization, the reawakened consciousness of its transcendent, immortal nature, one with spirit. Okay, so let's unpack that. Yoga is the science in which the soul gains mastery over the body and mind instruments. Okay, so the soul in our body is gaining mastery over the body. And that means over the body's 5 senses, right? We could hear, we're thinking all the time, we're feeling, we're smelling. Yoga is the process of teaching our body to stop hearing, to stop letting the mind run. And even, all the 5 senses are being turned off and the energy is actually being reversed. And we're training ourselves to slow the breath. And yes, eventually go breathless. Guys, the very definition of the word faith means breathless, because when you are breathless in meditation, you realize that you exist outside of this physical earth suit. So that's actually one of the main reasons people meditate, is because you're obtaining these states of scientific proof, like, aha, I'm breathless. Heck, my heart slowed down. My heart's even stopped beating. Yet I still am here. I'm still conscious. I don't need this physical earth suit to still be, right? So that's actually the proof of that we are this immortal being. But I don't want to get off topic. I'm just trying to break that down of what yoga is. It's scientific methods used for our soul to turn off the body's instruments, turn off the mind's instruments, reverse all of our energy up to realize its self-realized state, which is immortal, transcendent, and one with spirit. And I'm whispering today because I'm talking to you from a hot spring in New Mexico, and I don't really want to be too loud. Different religions use various words to describe this divine union. The word religion itself means something similar. In Latin, religare means to rebind or reconnect. It's a similar meaning to yoga, which is an ancient word from the Sanskrit root yuj, which signifies union. Yoga in Hindu philosophy is used to symbolize individualized soul with spirit by scientific psychophysical methods of meditation. Only here in the West do we think of yoga more as a physical activity, but in the rest of the world, yoga is known for a type of meditation technique, preparing the body and the mind for the unity of God and getting the body's physiology makeup ready to experience God's cosmic energy and preparing the body to feel a different state. So the science of yoga, or the scientific method of union with God, can be classified in these 5 groups. First, we have hatha yoga, and as I like to call it, the Lululemon type. This is the system of physical exercises whose purpose is to render the body fit for meditation, particularly for the higher states of ecstatic God communion, during which the body absorbs a greater than usual voltage of God's cosmic energy. To learn more about how and where this cosmic energy enters your body, make sure and watch my video on the spiritual eye. We talk about a lot of cool things. Number 2, then there is laia yoga. Laia yoga is like a complete absorption or melting of the mind on any thought or sound of God. So laia yoga is really recognizing that everything on this earth is vibrational. It's vibratory, meaning it's creating a sound, right? And we all know the world creates everything, every particle of being creates the sound Om. Well, beyond just our body, we have an astral and a causal body that are made for the astral heavens and the causal heavens. And in those realms also, there are vibratory sounds. So laia yoga is really merging with the other interdimensions that we have access to through yoga. Jesus in the Gospel of, I think, Thomas said something like, the kingdom is not here or there. The kingdom of the Father is actually spread out upon the earth. And what I believe he's saying is heaven is interdimensional, meaning it is here on earth. It's just you have to have the right consciousness to change into that dimension, to recognize it. And yoga is a practice that helps you do that. The laia yoga is the simple practice of melting into either an idea of God or the sound of God. And there's very different specific sounds that people listen for, varies upon their religious faith and practice. Why don't you do your good deed for the day and hit the subscribe button? I hope my videos can bring you value and inspiration into your life, and I hope I'll give you at least one good nugget of takeaway in today's video. Karma yoga is exactly what it sounds like. It signifies union with God through good works and good activities, and secondarily, meditation. Mantra yoga consists in uniting soul and spirit by concentrating through chanting loudly, softly, even chanting in whispers, and chanting super consciously specific words that carry a certain vibration in both the physical and the astral world. And Raja Yoga is the fifth one. It's also called the Royal Yoga. And it's the one that's going to have more of the comprehensive scientific methods of how the body is, being controlled and turning off our nerve systems. It has many different techniques and is always going to be passed down to you in it's not a clandestine way, and sometimes with religions we use the word, oh, hey kitty. It's so clandestine, she doesn't want me to talk about it. Esoteric way, meaning that it needs to be passed down with reverence, understanding. It's typically in a spiritual community given to you from a monk or nun, someone that you could receive ongoing counseling with. I've got a dove and a cat making noise. Ongoing counseling with, to understand the steps and the progress that you're making with the many different techniques that are involved in a type of Raja Yoga or a Kriya Yoga practice. I myself practice it. So yes, in my church that I go to, Self-Realization Fellowship, their number one goal is to teach meditation for any religion. It's open to all religions. But those meditation techniques are passed down in a very reverent way. We take kind of an oath of not silence, but we're not able to go out and teach the world these techniques, right? It's coming straight from monks and the nuns there. And it's a life path for sure. It's a daily practice in the morning, lunch, and at nighttime. It's definitely one of the more reverent meditational techniques and practices. Like, in the social media world and today's world, we talk a lot about different types of meditation techniques. I'll be forward with you. It is one that you would categorize as a monk's meditation, but there are many different types of meditations out there. Like Ziva is one that's like popular and easy for those go-getters that have a fast track life. You can't go wrong, looking into any type of spiritual path for your meditation techniques, which segues me into I just wanted to mention that Patanjali and his eightfold path is India's great sage who is kind of the founder, you would say, for yoga. He's the one that created yoga as this eightfold path. Now, we're not going to get into those eightfolds in this video, but he is basically the founding father of all of yoga philosophy that birthed what we went over today. And it later then came to the West by my wonderful guru in 1926, Yogananda, which I'm not going to make a video about that today, but if you do have a curiosity on how yoga came to the United States, both the meditation and the stretchy kind, you could probably attribute it to Paramahansa Yogananda. And to get a better understanding for who he is, it used to be a Netflix documentary about him, but the licensing ran out on that. So you could just Google Awake, the life or the autobiography of a yogi, or the life of Yogananda. I'll put it right here. And I know for sure that it's for sure on YouTube for like $3. But hopefully you'll find a free streaming platform that you can watch it on. It's absolutely fascinating. The book about him was also the spiritual bestseller. Steve Jobs read it every single year once he started reading it in his life. And he also gave that book out at his funeral to everyone that visited in a brown box and told them to open it when they got home. So that's just how powerful and special that man's life is. And I think you will definitely enjoy it and understand it. If you have any interest in spirituality and yoga, I definitely think you would find quite interest in it. And a yogi is one who practices the scientific techniques of meditation to unite himself with God. And I just want to note this because I made a video, 12 characteristics of a yogi. Check it out. If you're doing any type of self-development work, whether it's for your career or your family, you will find tools in that video that you could apply to your everyday life. But when I made that video, so many people were like, oh, how dare you try to be a yogi? And I don't really think they got it, that I got that directly from my church, right? Anybody can be a yogi. You can aspire to unite with God, and a yogi doesn't have to necessarily be a monk or a nun, someone that is given up their life to be celibate. You can also be a householder, meaning you can live out in today's society and build a family and still be a yogi. Thanks so much for watching. I love you. Please share me with someone you think I may bring inspiration to. And I do want to mention, for more understanding on the soul and it being covered in the physical, astral, and causal bodysuit, please watch my video, Your Soul's Journey. You have 3 bodies, and it will definitely give you a comprehensive understanding of the soul and how it is going back to spirit. Love you.